This episode is brought to you by Tabletop Dominion, purveyors of handmade dice and artisan gaming accessories. Why not head over to tabletopdominion.com and use the code BILLOW to enjoy 10% off your order? Who knows, maybe you will find your very own blue dice of power.
Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. Hope you're well. We've had some lovely reviews and ratings recently. Thanks very much, readers, if you've been leaving those for us. A quick little bit about how to get in touch with us. We are now on Threads, yet another social media platform to go along with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Tumblr. And a reminder that if you email us a single expletive, just pick a single rude word that pops into your mind, to hello@billowinghilltop.com. We will read it out at the beginning of one of our sessions. That is how desperate we are for reader interaction. That's all the formalities out of the way. I've got no other news or information, so let us push on with episode 152 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast, Occult Phenomenon Research Club. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
I'm here with my favourite player, Dan.
Everybody's favourite player, actually.
Everybody's favourite player. Paul is on charge still. Don't need him. Scaly's floating in a tank of liquid. It's not real. It's not, it's not actually doing anything. It's just washing up liquid, but I had to tell him something. We've got Lucas, Master of Spider Science, Dr. Eusebio Spider Lucas. We are all kneeling around Graham, the giant 300-metre cowled hologram, the Hulk figure of Graham, reaching out across the galaxy. And where we left things...
What about me in my high chair?
And easing himself into his still, as yet uncleaned, specially adapted high chair. It's the corpulent form of Johnny, who still hasn't discovered that horizontal stripes are not, I repeat, not, slimming. How is everybody?
Yeah, good.
Number one in Belgium,
nice.
Guys. That's what we are. Yep. We are number one in Belgium.
Pods, is that?
No, number one in Belgium, Apple.
Apple? You're kidding.
I don't know quite how that's happened. It's obviously some kind of mistake.
Administrative error.
But 2 weeks in a row, number one game podcast in Belgium.
Hey, wow.
Hello, Belgium. I don't know what Hello, Belgium is in Belgique or French. Flemish. Ça va, Belgique? What else can I... we've had an email. Well, we didn't have an email. We've had a message. A message from reader Nick. Evening, he said, my twins... who are 11 years old, are playing through the Age of Worms. And they're playing the Age of Worms like we're doing the Age of Worms. So they're basically adapting the original adventure to match the stuff that we do in our campaign, which is, I feel slightly responsible for. But anyway, there we go.
Lot to answer for.
They wanted me to tell you about their recent battle inspired by the Octobomb. Do you remember the Octobomb? The Octobomb. They played the first battle of the Champion's Belt against the Slard. This is how I know that they're running the version that we've been doing rather than the version from the book, because the Slard aren't in the book. They polymorphed the blue Slard into a slug, tied it to an arrow, and shot it straight up at maximum range, falling to deal 20d6 damage.
Oh, nice.
I overlooked the 40-foot height limit on the basis it was involuntary. It didn't kill it, but knocked the crap out of it. They were loving it. How about that? There you go.
Good tactic.
Yeah. Nick, thank you for telling us about that. And we're glad that you're enjoying... Well, I hope you're enjoying it. Maybe he's hating every moment of it and just thought he ought to tell us something, but he's not.
Blame us for it.
So there we are, picking up the Octobomb strategy and applying it elsewhere. I thought it was rather cool.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of spider science, I was reading the other day about there was a huge scandal in spider science about a couple of years ago. Because
apparently, I presume that you were right at the heart of it.
Yeah. No.
Denying all knowledge.
No, thank God I was not, because it was an absolute shit show, basically. It turned out there was the 3 researchers on a paper, and somebody contacted one of the researchers and sort of said, there's something really odd with your data here. Basically, she looked into it, and the data had all come from one of the other researchers. And the long and short of it, this researcher, who is now a professor of biology at some university and had at least 3 or 4 PhD students under him over at least 10 years, and he'd been making up his data for 10 years. And so all of the people who basically all did their PhDs collaborated with him. They, effectively they had to retract hundreds of papers because they just made some stuff up.
Well, that's the way to do it. Yeah, just
worked out the averages he needed and then typed in some numbers either side of the averages and all that kind of stuff. Crazy.
This is the content that our readers love.
Really crazy.
And this also just, you think we've been joking, everybody, about Lucas. Huh? We haven't. It's
From
truly
the horse's
master of
mouth.
spider science. Well, spider's mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
It is quite fascinating, the depth of Lucas's spider knowledge.
It's quite scary.
Yeah, so where we left things, Burple
Yes.
and Parker, Hackett, and Sessions have teleported from Marcus's lake bed lair into the base of operations of an organisation called the Red Blades in Frostang. When they got there, Buggy was meant to come with them. Buggy didn't arrive. The last thing you remember hearing after Marcus said, "Send them through," was him saying, "That's not right." Something like that. To that effect.
Right.
And Buggy has not arrived with you. So you don't know what's going on there, but there's no Buggy. You've turned up in a kind of workroom with some not particularly interesting material in it, like there was some stuff on a desk. You got the sense from reading some of the papers that Mahudril runs this organisation with a bit of a rod of iron, and you get the distinct sense from going through some papers that there's been some internal disciplinary issues. That would make sense because Bondi, when you were back at Marcus's lair, explained that she had basically spread some money around in order to, turn a disaffected employee. And it's from that disaffected employee that she got the object that you've used to teleport in here. And she found a kind of magic command word, keyword or something, you believe, written on a piece of paper in Draconic. We'll come to that maybe later. You've had a bit of an explore around this room. You've opened up a couple of antechambers. You've discovered a very exciting chamber pot. And finally, it settled on a door that Parker had a look through the keyhole, that looks like it leads out into a landing and maybe further into this area. But you struggled with the lock on the door, but you've struggled more as Burple opened it. Burple, you rolled a 1, if you remember, on your stealth check.
Yes.
And kind of clattering echoed up and down the stairwell. Well, that's where we pick things up.
Sigh.
Are you a halfling?
No.
You've opened up, effectively, a stairwell and landing. To your left, Burple.
Yep.
Up or down the stairs?
And there's a door on the opposite side.
The stairs go down, so I'm just going to put Burple where he needs to be and Parker where he needs to be. To your left, and they work their way down into a relatively cavernous stairwell. And now that this door is open, there's been no reaction.
That's where we've heard the voices, right? Down the bottom.
Yeah,
of the
well, not for so much voices, it's the sound of footsteps.
Yeah, the sound
there's
of
no
people
sound now.
doing things.
Maybe there's 2 or 3 people somewhere down that stairwell, occasionally moving about. We're not talking about the hustle and bustle of a busy place. There's a carpet on the landing. On your right, there are a couple of fixtures, like shelf fixtures with candelabra on them, and some kind of little devotional altar, and a little crest, 3-dimensional, like a motif, with 2 crossed red scimitars. On the other side of the hallway, there is another door leading further to the west.
Go and listen at that door.
Still got my see invisibility running.
There's nothing invisible or illusionary or anything clever.
Okay, go over to the other door and try and open that one quietly.
That door is locked.
Right.
You can turn the handle, the turny latch handle. Ding, 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 ding. And you can kind of exert a little pressure,
Ding, ding, ding,
either
ding,
pulling
ding.
or pushing, and you can't move it.
Try and pick the lock.
Has anybody got thieves' tools?
I do. You remember I
Okay.
bought these.
Parker, you're out in the you're out in the landing as well. Sessions hanging
Yes.
back in the original room.
What's the check?
I have absolutely, every time this comes up, I've absolutely
I have no idea. I haven't played
no
her.
idea.
I'm not Alessandra.
Sleight of hand, isn't it?
I think
Sleight of
it's.
hand? Yeah.
I'm just going to type in open locks 5e. Google it, man.
Yeah, Google it.
You've got thieves' tools. You're proficient with them, are you?
Yes. Well, I don't know. How do I become proficient with them?
Well, your class would give you proficiency with thieves' tools.
No, I don't
Doesn't
believe
matter
I
how
am.
long
maybe
Right,
your
so-
background.
No, I'm not. But the point was, if I
Okay, so you
recall,
don't get to add your proficiency bonus.
No.
So you're making a dexterity check.
Right. Yeah.
You can't even try it without the thieves' tools. With
Yeah,
the
that
thieves'
was
tools, you
that
can
was the
give it a
reason,
shot.
because we discovered at one stage that
That's right.
Alessandra
Yeah. Here we
wasn't
go.
around. Oh, God,
4
no.
is not enough. You're trying to tip a tumbler
Yeah.
or whatever.
How often?
And
how
it's-
many tries?
Well, you can have
or
another
what's
go.
Can I try?
Yeah.
Thieves'
Anybody else
tools.
can make a dexterity. It's a
Yeah.
straight dexterity check.
Yeah.
Not dexterity, sleight of hand.
It's just a straight dexterity check.
I'll have a go. Getting a massive 7.
Well, I'll have a go too.
Okay. Okay, Sessions, your turn. Give it here. Yeah. Okay. You've done it, Sessions. You feel the tumblers of the lock.
Ooh.
Respond to your expert yet tender touch. And you think it opens away from you.
Shall we push it open then?
Yeah.
Who wants to push it open and who's standing where? Let's get this.
Parker wants to push it open.
Well, aren't we invisible?
Yeah.
Did we
Yeah.
listen at the door?
But, I mean, the door opening is going to be obvious.
I don't think we actually listened at the door.
No.
We'll have a listen as well.
I mean, presuming you're not talking amongst yourselves. You're just sort of... And you can't see each other, so you can't sign... I'm not going to get into all
I have a
this.
message spell.
Fine. Yeah, I'm sure you can whisper. You can't hear
15.
anything, Parker. Maybe the
Okay. Open the door
gentle
then.
ticking of a carriage clock or something.
Yeah. Okay. Open the door.
We can always nip back into the storeroom, grab some of the paper, write notes, and drop them,
Good point.
and then pick them up.
Very invisible man stuff.
Invisible Man stuff. It's the new range available in Boots. So, you're opening the door, Parker.
Yes.
Do you want to make a stealth check?
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. Not award-winning.
No.
You maybe rattle the lock a bit as you open it, but there's no response. You can step in or look into this chamber.
Look
Yep.
in.
Look in.
La 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 la. Look
Fine.
in.
It's a bedroom.
It's a bedroom.
There is a vanity stand or nightstand on your right with a little mirror. Opposite you, you can see a window with the curtains are drawn. There is a framed four-poster kind of bed thing, box bed, not very big. Looks like it's, well, it'd be cozy. Certainly for you, Parker. That's what you can kind of see with the door really interposed between you and the rest of the chamber. You stepping in and having a look around.
Yes.
To your left, you can see a couple of chests of drawers, or a chest of drawers and a wardrobe. And then on the far side of the room is an ornately framed, sizable, full-length mirror that's sort of standing next to a little night table that sits by the bed.
Mirror of
That's
life,
what you can see.
something. Go and look in it.
Or
Mirror of
opposition.
opposition,
one of them.
yeah.
Well, so Parker, I'm just going to be very, very careful about what we're doing because I want to know where people are. So Parker is standing on the threshold of the room. The others, Sessions can see a little bit past him. But probably see some of the stuff in the northern part of the room. Burple standing out on the carpet in the middle. Burple can't see anything. Not really. Maybe the corner. Who wants to do what?
I want to
Let's go roll a d6. Okay.
do detect magic, but I don't want to because we're invisible. There's an area missing. Where's the entrance
Spotted
to
that. Mhm.
Hmm.
Now the door's open, can we hear anything from that room?
No. Maybe, well, the sound of a clock ticking.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Parker, you're the one that should be exploring first, I think.
I'm the what?
Well, you're the most resilient, and the other, and
The
the two
one
of
that
us have
bumbles
the get out
into
of jail
everything and
cards.
triggers all the traps. You mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm making an assumption that Parker is doing the looking, the opening, and is whispering a sort of summary of what he's seeing to the two of you. So you're sort of making your judgments second hand. Parker, the door opens to your left and into the room.
Yeah.
So without stepping right round and stepping into the room really, or leaning down so that you're looking round the side of the door,
Okay.
you can't
I'm
really take in the whole
I'm
room.
going to have a look round the sort of the door arch to see if there's any kind of sort of traps or.
Nothing obvious.
Yeah.
Do you want to make an investigation check or
Yes, I
make
do.
an investigation check if you're gonna have a kind of minute search?
Yeah.
Can I have a go?
Looks perfectly fine to me.
Not very good.
I'm going to
Sure,
have a go. I'm
Burple,
quite
you're
good.
stepping up to the doorway. Yep.
Before we
27
actually walk in.
investigation.
Okay, you can't see it if you're standing in the doorway, the threshold, Burple, and having a look at the door frame. You see no signs of any kind of stuff, but you can see a bit of the room
Yeah.
if you're standing there.
Yeah.
Something that you can see, Burple, that Parker could see,
Oh.
is that tracing the outline of the mirror on the far side of the room is a faint blue radiance.
Oh. I will message the other two to that effect, make them aware, and I will have a look. What's this to the south then? I will have a look round the door.
There's a couple of doors to the south, next to
Ah.
each other, in the centre of the south wall of this, obviously a bedroom. It's like quite a high status bedroom.
Yeah.
It's quite richly appointed.
Maybe we might want to do a silence spell or something, or we trigger something.
Go on then.
Well, it's one of you two.
Oh, I haven't got silence.
Nor have I, because I swapped it out for remove curse, thinking we might need to. Oh no, I still have it.
It doesn't move though, does it?
It doesn't move. Yeah.
Okay.
We could sort of...
The question is, do we burn loads of spells trying to move around here silently and not triggering stuff? I mean, that blue thing normally implies that it's a portal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the doors to the south might reveal something, but I don't know.
I mean, the mirror is a portal or a mirror of opposition, I would have thought, but...
Yeah, but a mirror of opposition,
why would you have it next to your bed?
Yes, and why? And would it radiate this blue aura?
I don't know. Yeah, probably not.
I think that mirror looks quite promising. So they probably got this stuff, these vials, from somewhere, possibly through the mirror.
Maybe. Could set fire to the building and see where, while we're invisible, see where people come to rescue stuff.
Yes, they might be a bit late.
So
the stairs just go down. So we've got kind of 3 things to investigate, haven't we? The stairs, the mirror, and the doors. I have a clairvoyance spell. I could do a clairvoyance on the other side of those doors, but if it's dark in there, that's not really going to do anything. Don't just want to burn spells for the sake of burning spells.
No, especially as we don't have... only have 2 long rests, don't we, before you guys become scaly?
Well, I don't know about that. I think my assumption is that every day we're making a save that could be bad. And maybe those saves get worse as you go along, or maybe they get more frequent or something like that. I don't know.
What do you want to do?
I'm going to step into the room. I see invisibility is not picking anything up, I'm assuming.
What does it pick up? Does it pick up just invisible things and illusions?
I will read it to you.
Sorry, I know you...
For the duration, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible. You can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Okay, nothing.
Okay. Tell me about this mirror then. So it's radiating a general blue aura, or is the glass...
You can see a tracery around the edge of the mirror.
Okay.
Very like, in fact, exactly like the blue radiance that has picked out a couple of little portals and doors in your experience when you returned to the Whispering Cairn. Was that a week ago? Something like that?
That generally lead to another plane, don't they? Or another...
You seem to have an ability, you don't know quite where you've picked it up from, to pick out these little jump gates, portals, whatever. You don't know if there's any kind of pattern or, system, because it's all so new. But what you do know is that Parker can't see anything.
Okay.
What do you want to do now?
Well, Parker's going to go and have a look at the doors to the south of that room.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Taking care not to look into the mirror.
Okay, yeah. Well, the doors, they're not like super secure or anything, both with turny latch handles. What do you want to do? Listen at them both?
Yes.
Give me a roll. Or 2 rolls, in fact, which is basically lunch.
Yep.
Very good. Yes, very good. Lunch, yes.
Lunch, yes. The lunch joke.
Lunch. I see. Lunch. Very witty.
A 7
7
and 11. Well,
there you go.
don't-
Lunch at the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, there you go. So you got 2 rolls from 7 and 11. God, do you remember those awful 7-Eleven microwavable hamburgers? Deary me.
Oh,
Some
dear.
late nights of... Anyway, no sound from behind either door, Parker. Okay.
Are they locked?
Are you going to try them?
Yes.
Left or right?
Left.
Which door do you choose? Not locked. Open it.
Yeah.
Storeroom. You found a storeroom. Thanks for playing.
Is there a dressing table at the top of the room?
Yes, vanity stand.
Have a search around that.
There's, I don't know what's on dressing tables. There's a hairbrush.
Mm-hmm.
Some makeup. There's quite a bit of jewellery. It's quite... Oh, Sessions. Give me an intelligence check. Let's see what you get. Okay, now there's some jewellery. There might be something passably familiar about that jewellery and you can't place it.
Okay.
Parker, storeroom. More jars, more bits and bobs.
Search it.
I would say kind of more domestic in nature and less officey or work-based in
Well,
nature.
we'll search it anyway, surely. Why not?
Nah, nothing of any interest.
Okay, and then open the right door.
Opening door number
Door
2.
number 2.
Parker, you've won a privy
Yay.
with a little washstand.
Awesome.
Lovely.
Do you want to try drinking from it? See if it cures you? That might be the answer. You never know.
Yeah.
You can try eating the carpet. That might be the answer.
Maybe someone else wants to have a look at this jewellery, see if they...
Yeah, I'll have a look at the
Registers.
jewellery. What's
No, purple, just jewellery.
Wow.
Sessions. There's something weirdly familiar about that jewellery. But not for you, Burple.
Right.
Now what? What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm going up to the mirror.
Okay, it's standing there being reflective. Your reflection stares back at you. Weird white-eyed reflection.
Touch it.
It's a mirror.
Touch.
Well, I mean,
What
Touch
about
the-
the magic words that we were given in Draconic?
on a piece of paper.
Yeah, say the magic word. Abracadabra.
Fazul habadaba.
That's much
Thanks,
better.
Ben.
Azul Habadaba. Unless Graham was just having a minor stroke there and we just misinterpreted it. But let's take that as the word anyway.
Habadaba.
You might detect a sort of resonance as you say the word Burple in the blue light, but the mirror seems to be the same.
Damn it.
Touch it.
Touch it. And say the word.
Different this time. As you reach out and touch the surface, it's like
It ripples.
Ripples. Your finger kind of goes in, feels cold and weird. Where your fingertips break the surface, the plane of the mirror, that blue radiance surrounds the tips of your fingers.
I shall step through.
Okay, step through. Parker, Sessions, what do you want to do? Do you want to step through after Burple?
So
Close the door before you do.
Do you want to split the party up into 4 sections?
Well, might as well step through.
fuck
Leave
it.
the building.
All right, I follow him.
Burn the
Jesus
place
Christ,
down.
Why not?
Smash the
Throw the
mirror.
mirror out the window. Yeah.
Bury it.
Parker, Sessions, you jumping through?
Yeah, why not?
It's like Stargate.
Okay.
Been buried
Yeah.
for centuries.
That's it.
You step in, it feels suddenly cold, and then there's a kind of weird kind of whining moment of transition. Are you traveling? Are you leaping, jumping? Are you whirling down through the vortices of time? Could last forever, could last only for an instant. You end up somewhere else. Let me put you on a new map. Just going to make sure that my new map is right, because if the new map is wrong, then we're all fucked. Okay, you appear in a weird chamber. You step through 1, 2, 3 and assemble. Avengers assemble in what looks like a kind of, I don't know, like a laboratory or a sort of research room. A mirror standing behind you exactly resembles the mirror that you stepped through before. There's all sorts of weird stuff scattered about the floor. You can hear a deeply unsettling series of screams issuing from your south. You can see that this room is kind of divided up. It's weirdly mirroring where you just were, but it's all odd. First of all, there's a strange tang of ozone and a kind of acrid, acidic smell in the air that more than passingly resembles the smell in Ilfane's cave, where you drank those potions in the first place. It's kind of the same. There's shelves with bottles and books. There are papers strewn around a desk. It's a state of chaos, unlike where you just were in the Red Blades headquarters, which looked like in a state of order. This looks like stuff is just discarded and thrown aside. There's a nasty smell in here as well, like a pigsty smell. The screams that you can hear, they seem to be coming from your south. There's a door to your south. There's a mixture of sort of unearthly eldritch wails, not as in the mammals, and actual, genuinely terrified cries of agony and anguish, like the sounds of a torture chamber in action. There's a weird sort of keening sound, like a high-pitched something that's putting your teeth on edge. What do you want to do? There's a door to the south.
But there's a door to the
Perfect
south.
normal door.
Okay, do we need this invisibility, or should I do a clairvoyance through that door?
There's a stove, by the way, on the eastern wall.
Well, do we want to collect any of these papers and things? Might be worth just grabbing.
There's papers. There's a weird sort of object in the northeastern corner of this chamber that looks like a sort of still. It's not actually bubbling, but you can feel the heat coming off its Sessions. There is a condenser pipe coming out of it. That condenser pipe is dripping some kind of clear liquid out into a little sort of receivey pipe.
Search the room.
Taking 20?
Yeah.
Grabbing paperwork and stuff.
There are a couple of bottles in there that look like the bottles that this potion was in, that you drank in Ilthane's cave. They're empty. They look like they've been unused. There are a couple of other bottles that look like they're more utilitarian. They've got something in them. And the desk has got some papers that... A lot of the writing on these papers is in the weird script that you found in the shaftway that ran down from under the plague house down into the crypt of the Ebon Triad. Do you remember that weird writing?
No.
Classic. When you descended under the plague house, you made your way along a little kind of service corridor.
Yeah.
And then there was a brick-lined shaft, and that brick-lined shaft was covered in writings that had been scrawled and etched into the brickwork. Weird language that you weren't familiar with, but you did a little bit of rummaging in your memories, and I think it was Parker that thought that it was some kind of script that was related to some awful race of undead demonic eldritch beings called the Avolachia. Does any of that ring even the slightest tiny bell, like a bell you put on a Christmas tree? No? Okay.
Sort of.
It's that script. There's other stuff that's in deep speech and draconic, and there's some stuff that's in common. Somebody's going to need to do a bit of scorekeeping here. We're going to call them research points. Grabbing stuff off that desk, grabbing a couple of bottles from this room, is enough for you to award yourselves with 1 research point. I'll make a note too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
How many do you need?
2 authority points and 1 research point.
Right. We can call them lifeline points if you prefer, or,
Scaly points.
scaly points.
Oh, well, we've got what we came for. Let's go back. Go back to Marcus and...
That's a very good point. Somebody give me an Arcana check, a straight intelligence check.
Kind of the same to me.
Burple gets a 30.
A 30?
Yeah, Burple gets a 13.
Sessions gets an 11.
14.
They're all right numbers.
We know everything. Yep.
Those scores are high enough for you to know certainly that you don't feel you have everything yet.
No. Okay. Let's go and listen at the door to the south.
Somebody give me a perception check. And who is doing the listening?
I will do the listening to begin with. I don't know whether... Who's got... what perception?
I don't know who's got hit.
I will try and listen.
Oh, Burple's got hit. What?
I've got hit. What? Yeah, 23.
He's got hit. What?
Burple's got
23.
much better perception than I have. Why do I...
Sorry, he's got hit. What? That's probably why.
Yeah, that's my hit. What?
Why not? Why?
Burple, with your hit. What?
Yeah.
First of all, you can hear. I've got a lot. There's a lot to unpick here. There's a soundscape. What you've got is the following different sounds are all up dip.
All up dip. All up
you can hear the sound of bubbling,
like a retort
sloopy,
flask.
gloopy bubbling. Yeah, or mud or something. Yeah.
Right.
You can also hear a sort of gaseous, billowing hiss.
Yeah.
You can also hear a kind of zoing, sort of electric arc spark kind of mad scientist laboratory noise. And you can also hear a kind of awful eldritch wailing and gibbering.
Right.
That's what you can hear through the door. If you do turn scaly, you're going to be in good company. That's what it sounds like.
Yes. Understood. Okay, well, Parker's going to go down and open the door.
Are we still invisible, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far.
Always have.
Well, you're invisible to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly absolutely visible to everything else.
Parker, you want to open the door?
Yeah.
Okay. You open the door up into a corridor. It runs from your left to your right. So east to west. You can see a door on the other side of the corridor.
Mm-hmm.
Door and
I can see a
zombie or
creature
something
as well.
And then to your left, you can hear a sort of shuffling. There seems to be some sort of weird, bloop, like a hot mud spring. A sound like that. It's coming off from your left. And you can hear a kind of... Something is moving around to your left. It's either not noticed you or it's noticed you and it's not
worried.
Interested. You think that the arcing electricity sound is coming from through this door opposite. That's what you can see standing back from the doorway like that. What do you want to do?
Parker, you're in the doorway.
So
Go up and hit it.
he hasn't noticed us yet.
It's not reacted. You think from where you are that it looks kind of quite sort of nasty and zombie and maybe quite wormy.
Right.
Am I still invisible?
Tell me a bit more about what it's doing.
I think we are.
I think you are still invisible, yeah.
I haven't cast a spell, have I?
Oh, yes, true.
So we could at least peer down the corridor.
Yeah.
Do you want to
Yeah,
do
invisibility to undead. I don't think invisibility works on undead, does it?
I think that's a Pathfinder thing.
Might be.
I don't think there's anything as sophisticated as that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think there is an invisibility to undead spell.
Look down the corridor.
Stepping out into the corridor.
Yeah.
Okay, straight away, let me tell you what you can see. This creature on your left seems to be tending to or something. Basically, reality sort of stops. It's always reassuring to hear, isn't it? And the corridor just ends in, could be a gas, like a curtain of gas hanging over the end of the corridor, or it could be a weirdly suspended, blurbly liquid, but there are bubbles coming out of it and kind of rippling about in it, and it looks very like a sort of semi-gaseous version of the horrible green pool of nastiness in Ilthane's lair that thing came out of. You don't know that it's so solid that you wouldn't be able to either wade into it. This creature that's regarding this cloud of stuff, we're calling knee sideways. You've encountered creatures like this before in the shrine beneath the Cenobi, beneath the arena. It looks like it's very much of the same composition.
Like a hinge head thing.
Yeah, but well, every now and again you encounter one of these things that can open their heads with a hinge head. But most of them aren't like that. You can't really tell, Parker, without inspecting it a bit more closely whether or not that's a risk. But it's certainly a thinly clad skeleton of zombified, putrefying flesh, and the occasional worm issues from an orifice, like an ear or out of a junction between a ribs or something like that.
So, there's 3 of you.
The original three.
Paul has rejoined us. Hello, Paul.
Oh, I've never went away. I've just been listening.
Lurking.
Paul has been away, having more of himself removed, dear readers.
Yeah, I
Lurking.
found that my little plastic box was far too big. I needed to...
Well, that is
I'm downsizing.
That's more information than we needed.
much more information than we needed. Thank you. You can see, Parker, to your right. You're looking into a more open space. You can hear bubbliness off to the right as this space opens up. Ooh. To your right, there's another one. We're calling the one on your right No-Jaw. It's another one of these shuffly things, and it is in the process of shuffling towards you. But again, you don't get the sense that it knows about you. It just seems to be randomly shuffling in your direction. Past it, you can see a chamber at the far end. There's some kind of dresser with all sorts of bits and bobs on it. From your angle, you can just make out, perhaps in one corner, there's shelving with books and papers and all sorts, but a lot of stuff is just strewn over the floor in kind of random chaotic pattern. You can also see that there are more of these little kind of implements, these little apparati that seem to be sort of stills or something that seem to be either pulling something out of the air and distilling it down into a liquid, or bubbling up some kind of source liquid and turning it into something else. There's one right next to you, and you can see another one just on your left as you look into this chamber. Let's pick up with Burple and Sessions. What would you like to do?
So these things haven't looked at Parker at all. They haven't paid him any mind.
Well, yes, okay, so if you step up behind him, you can also see everything that I've just described for Parker, and they are not paying any attention to you either.
And there's a door opposite.
Yes, that's where the arcing electricity sound seems to be coming from.
I don't like it. I'm going to move out into the corridor and move up to the door.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Do I get +10 for being invisible?
You get a,
Hey, do I? Hey.
do you get, is it you get advantage and I get disadvantage, or you better work that out because you just rolled a 2. You better work out what the answer to that question is. Paul, that's the sort of thing you would know.
No.
It's the sort of thing Graham would know.
No, you can. The advantage on the stealth check is you need to have things to have an advantage on the stealth check. So I had advantage on a stealth check
You need to have
I've
things.
Yeah,
Very
specific
specific
things.
things.
Basically,
See,
you
I
need
had-
If you ever
Things
have
to
any
think.
questions, you just need to ask Paul.
Yeah,
He knows all the answers.
I had
about things.
elven boots, which gave me advantage on stealth checks.
Yeah, okay.
That's the DM's guide. I didn't want the DM's guide.
Okay,
I
so
think
what it
it's
basically
just
you
a
have
question of an invisible creature is impossible to...
You got it.
Yeah.
What's that?
Basically, anything that relies upon sight, without the aid of a special sense, the purpose of hiding the creature is heavily obscured. So I have no opportunity to see you if it's based upon sight. Were you to make a noise, were you to have a distinct scent, I could make a perception check opposed by your stealth check, which is not made at advantage. But I think I would be making my perception check at disadvantage
Okay.
because I haven't got sight to back up my senses. Should I smell something or hear something?
Well, I got
That seems to be
6
reasonable.
on my stealth check.
So you want to use your Ort dice?
No.
Okay, let's make a couple of rolls behind the screen. Well, I don't think I need to roll any more. Neither of them react to you. That door to the south, you're absolutely certain, Burple, that the arcing electricity sound is coming through that door. Also, give me a perception check.
Perception check.
Yes.
Getting a 15.
Okay. The sound of human distress, as opposed to eldritch wailing,
Yeah.
that's also coming through this door. You've got probably one, you think maybe male voice, human something, I mean, whatever, and one female voice.
What, screaming or talking?
Well, they're both in a state of misery. Every now and again there's a scream of genuine anguish. You can kind of hear snuffling and weeping a misery from these voices.
Okay.
The other thing, though, Burple, that you can hear through this door is the sound of small, jingly bells.
Does that seem familiar at all?
Not particularly, no. Bit odd. There we go.
It's not the Christmas edition already, is it?
All the way? Are
No,
they all the way?
too early for Christmas.
Okay, how tall is
Yeah,
this
very good.
corridor?
Why has Sessions got a spanner and a weird thing?
Don't know.
Spanner to remind me that I'm flying, and a weird thing to remind me that I'm invisible.
Obviously, spanner is the universal sign of flying.
I thought it looked a little bit like a broom.
Long time since you doing any housework, Graham.
Yeah, flying up above. I'm moving up the door. I want to see how tall that corridor is.
The corridor is 12 feet.
I'm going to fly up above
This broom's not picking much up.
Parker.
Little hobbity Sessions is flying up near the ceiling above Parker. Great.
Well, of course, the problem is if we open this door, even if we're invisible, we're still going to alert them to our presence. They're going to
I have
then
felt
take
your
notice.
presence. I think I should give... I'm just looking at the angle here. I wonder whether or not I should give
Burple a bit of you.
Burple a bit more information about what you can see.
Information.
Information. I think I can give you a bit more
Confirm.
information, Burple, because your angle has opened up a little bit.
As the actress said to the bishop.
You can see a little bit more of that chamber from where you are standing. You can see that there is a large set of double doors
Oh.
in the north wall of this larger chamber that you are looking west into. It's all opening up to your west. No Jaw the zombie is shuffling towards you. And you can also see that there seems to be more of this billowing, green, acrid, deliquescent, gaseous liquid goop
You're on the
floating about.
demi-plane of goop. Excellent.
What are we going to do,
Oh,
chaps?
it's alright, I'm immune to goop.
Does feel weird, Sessions. You don't feel like you're in
You're in
Kansas.
Kansas anymore. Yeah.
That's quite an astute observation. Yeah, there is a sort of odd sense of dislocation or something going on here.
I'm going to... You see this pot here, just beyond that zombie?
Yeah.
What are these things? That's a sort of some kind of bubbling kind of thing, is it?
It looks like part of one of these weird apparati that... All right, is it apparatuses or apparati or apparatuses? Doesn't matter. Whatever it is it
I think apparatus is
slain?
the plural of apparatus, isn't it? I'm going
I
to
don't know.
basically do a minor illusion of a voice coming from this pot. Going, help!
Okay.
Tiny voice. Help! Let me out!
Okay. Doesn't that make you go visible?
Oh, well, it's a cantrip, does it? I think I can do
I think
cantrip.
it's spell.
Is it spell? Okay, then I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Well, that does have an interesting question.
Does the spell enter a target that attacks or casts a
Yeah.
spell? I don't think you can get away with a cantrip.
Okay.
Cantrip is a spell.
Sorry.
It is a spell. Yes.
Oh.
Okay. I'm just looking through any of
Right,
my
I like that idea as well.
abilities. Yeah, I quite like that.
Till it fell flat on its face.
It did.
Cricket's been good.
Yeah, very exciting.
What a terrific test match.
I haven't seen it today, so don't.
So I won't tell you.
Don't spoil it.
I won't.
No, well, no, that's all I can do. So I'm just going to sort of
Loiter. Parker?
loiter. Yeah.
I'm trying to keep a track of time here. And we just started a new round, as it were. We started with Burple. What do you want to do?
I will move up a little bit further on down the corridor than Burple, so that I'm not right in the next adjacent square to the other creature,
Yes.
but that I can see all the way down. And
Okay,
I will
so I'm
do
just gonna
that
say that you can pretty much see
stealthily.
everything.
Ooh.
You can see an area of billowing weirdness. It's running floor to ceiling, directly to your right. Towards the northern wall, it seems to be more of a sort of pool bubbling out and then spreading. Exactly where you're standing. As the room first opens up, there is a floor to ceiling cloud of this stuff, but it seems to be issuing out of a vent, an area of broken ground with this stuff bubbling up through it that runs up to the north wall of this chamber that you can now see all of.
Yeah. And I've just
Kind of all I can tell you.
noticed now on the far wall to the west. Is that a contraption or a device, or is it a...
It's like a
door?
cabinet with bits and stuff on it. Looks quite interesting if you're looking for stuff.
Looks like it's got a light shining down on it. Telling
We're
us
always
this
looking
is
for
where you're
stuff.
going. But that's why we're here, isn't it? To find
Yes.
information.
Can I
Information.
stealthily...
In formation.
If I'm moving stealthily, Is it half speed or something?
Mm-hmm.
I will basically move all the way down the corridor towards this dresser contraption while trying to stealthily move past the...
Got it. Well, give me a stealth check.
Yeah, okay, stealth check coming up. Oh, 20.
No jaw does not pay you any mind as you zoom past. You can see the bit of the chamber that you've hitherto not been able to see. There's an apparatus in that corner that's like a larger version of the apparatuses you've seen so far. And then there is a wall to the south. There are 2 doors. You can hear shuffling heavy movement through those doors. Can you give me a perception check, though, as well?
Yes. Hang on. Not so good, 11.
Yeah, that's enough. From the north, it's difficult for you to pinpoint from that direction a sound that I think I mentioned when you first came... Well, I know I mentioned when you first came through. A sort of constant tone, very high tone. That sound, as you walk out into this larger area, it's coming from your north. And it sounds, now that you're closer, you presume, to the source of it, weirdly like a sustained, high-pitched, sung note.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing feels good about that at all, Parker.
A machine that's doing something and
No,
generating this
a
noise?
voice.
A harpy.
A voice.
We've had something like this before. Obviously, I can never remember.
Nothing feels good about that, Parker. Sessions, you've got another opportunity to do something. I'm just going to move No Jaw and Knee Sideways around a bit. This is like a video game, guys. Knee Sideways starts working its way back towards the main chamber. No Jaw keeps working its way back towards where you started, so they're going to cross pretty soon. Right, Sessions. Above all of this, looking down.
Right, yeah, it's all a bit terrifying. So I think I'm going to fly up to that interesting looking cabinet.
All the way up into the big main chamber off to your west.
And I'll have a little look at that. Skirting along the top of the ceiling.
Yes. Parker, can you give me a Constitution save at advantage, please? Let me just find my tracker.
1. That'd be a 20.
Okay.
Is that enough?
Yeah. That's all I needed to know.
21.
Just let's make a note of that. Okay. Let's start with Burple again. What do you want to do? Unless you want, I mean, in any order, but just one action each, one thing each.
Yeah, I want to go into the room, check these shelves down here.
Okay, so you're going to move up into that main chamber. Can you give me a perception check?
12.
Fine. And then what, you're using your action to be searching?
Yes.
Okay. Sessions, are you using your action to search?
Yeah, why not?
Parker, what are you going to do while these 2 guys are searching the gubbins in the corner?
What shall I do?
That is...
I'll search the apparatus in the lower right corner.
Okay, so give me
So all
some
3 of us
investigation checks, please. Everybody give me an investigation check.
12.
Burple, your investigation check, because you rifle through this stuff.
I get 27.
That's very good. And Parker?
13.
No, nothing with that. But Burple, you have struck it lucky.
Yep.
And you can add to your tally another
it's all skill.
research point.
Cool.
In the gubbins in that cabinet,
Yeah.
you find some more material. Again, written in this weird cross between Arcane, Eldritch, and Avalarkia script.
Okay.
More note. They seem to match up or have some kind of through line with the other notes you found in the other chamber. You feel that you've added to your net stock of lore.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Wonder how many lore points we need to accumulate
At least 3, I would say.
At least 3.
in total, or 3 more.
Well, I think that we could keep going until we get into trouble and then dimension door back to the mirror
Yes.
and out.
Yeah.
So there's potentially
I'm
a
assuming the
escape
more
plan.
points we get, the more pluses Eligos or whoever will get on their
I would
rolls.
guess, yeah.
Yes, it's probably not fixed, is it? It's probably a sliding scale of some sort.
As soon as we open one of these doors or we create a commotion, then of course suddenly we're in a situation where there's a whole bunch of creatures.
Yeah, that'd be quite a fun combat. So where was the screaming coming from? Was that behind the double doors? The high-pitched screaming
Yes,
noise.
the high
What are
pitch
these?
was coming from the
What do we know
doors.
about these things to the south?
That was shuffling.
Shuffling. Maybe they're sort of experiments. Maybe we should start opening some doors. Still invisible.
It's like a video game, this.
Yeah.
Let's go around again in any order. Baby, turn back
At the hands of time. Can I just have a reminder, right? We've got these 2 doors down here to the south of the main chamber.
You've got into this larger chamber that the corridor leads into. Readers, it's landscape, this chamber, and it's about 60 feet long by about, I would say, 35, 40 feet high, if you're looking at it as a map from above. The northern wall of it, there's a large set of double doors. The southern wall, there are 2 single doors.
The 2 single doors had shuffling coming from behind them, and the one to the north had a weird kind of keening note.
Parker has perceived this,
Right.
and through the power of the metagamatron, so have you. But your perception check was a 3. So,
Okie dokie.
who wants to go first?
I'm going to try the leftmost door to the south. Does it feel locked?
It's got a turny latch handle. Are you going to turn that latch
Yes,
and
quietly,
push it or
stealthily.
pull it?
Yeah.
It opens towards you.
Okay. Open it. And
You can open it by a centimetre.
No, I'm going to.
I mean,
I'm going
you're going to pull it open.
Yeah.
Well, there is a chamber. It looks like a jackpot chamber in terms of alchemical
Research.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's got a thing in the middle with benches around it and some kind of gizmo. It's got tables and desks with notes. It's got barrels. It's got plungers. It's got pestles and mortars. It's got flasks. It's got the fucking works. Everything. The other thing it's got that whips its head round as the door opens, apparently for no reason, is another one of these things.
Yeah.
We're calling it pelvic chaos to represent its particular form of problems. And past it, you can see another we're going to call skull wonky.
Skull wonky.
Skull wonky.
Basically, the skull is over on its side and then attached to the top of the vertebrae. Let's not think about what's going on with pelvic chaos. It's beyond imagination. Parker, what do you want to do? Burple's opened this door. Pelvic chaos has sort of head has gone spun round with the door opening for no reason, and it looks wary. It looks suspicious to the extent that you can determine that kind of thing.
Kill them.
Parker, kill them all.
I think first of all I will just stand very still until it sort of thinks, oh, okay, that was just a gust of wind or something.
So you're holding in place. And Sessions, do you want to do anything? Burple opens this door.
I will also stay quiet and where I am for the time being.
Pelvic chaos starts shuffling out through the door into the main chamber. Stands right next to you, Burple. Starts sniffing the air. Rolling an 18. Rolling a 19. Its head whips round and looks straight at you, Burple, and it starts kind of leaning into where you're standing, going and sort of scratching around with its horrible skeletal hands as horrible drippy worms issue from its eye sockets.
Oh.
And it sort of hisses as well. And Skull Wonky opens this door, steps out into the main chamber, starts sniffing as well. Also at disadvantage, getting... okay, not enough. It doesn't pick anything up, but it's clearly been agitated. It's getting a kind of pack mentality thing going on with pelvic chaos. And over here, No Jaw and Knee Sideways start shuffling their way into the main chamber, summoned by their pelvically chaotic master. Sorry, that was really silly.
Got a bit carried away there.
Another thing happens as well. This is not so good. The double doors to the north open. They swing open into the room, and what you can see through them
Oh dear.
is a chamber. There seem to be some kind of markings on the floor. Something's going on with a pot of what looks like magma or molten fluid in it. surrounded by little candles that are all going. It looks deeply ritualistic and odd. But much more concerning is the creature that glides from the chamber and out towards you. It is small. Initially you think it might be like a zombie halfling or a zombie gnome or something like that. You realise, no, it's a child. It's a child wearing choristers, a weird kind of corrupted, awful, twisted version of a choir boy's garb. Robes and a little ruff. But the head of this thing is almost completely decomposed. The skin is hanging off the skull. There's a little tiny remnant of where there once was hair, almost like one of those people that just cannot concede that they're balding, and they grow the tiny bit they've got left as long as possible. It glides, floats out into the room, and as it does so, Parker and Burple, the sound that it's making, it's holding an awful eldritch choir boy note that seems to speak to the very insides of you. And you feel something inside you start to respond to the sound. It raises a finger at Burple.
Oh, no.
It goes, "Ah!" And we will find out.
Oh, God. Say.
What this thing
It's a
is.
very evil laugh. Mike is very pleased with this section, you can tell.
What is about to happen to you? Are you going to join the horrible choir of tiny boys? When we pick things up. Run away!
Oh, yeah. Deep shit.
Deep
The
poop.
very,
And then there
very
were two.
deepest of poop.
Do you remember that Necronomicon spell? The Thorgman's organ summoning?
Doth Armand's
Yeah.
organ request.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do I ever remember it, Graham?
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. The Prince of Red Hand and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. The Prince of Red Hand was written by Richard Pett. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening!